It's time for video number 6 concerning the ICOH Congress in Dublin. It's also time for Africa. We have the results of the votes concerning the 2024 edition of the ICOH Congress that will be taking place in Marrakech. So it's really time for Africa. Congratulations to the Professor El Kolti's team, and I wish to them all best of luck and all the possible success in the organization of this Congress. So today the scientific program was really focusing on psychosocial risk. Well, I will be dealing with psychosocial risk. This is the main topic in occupational health I'm interested in. So that's why I'd like to go a little more in depth concerning this subject. So I will be dealing with only two communications. The first one is a semi-plenary session that has been performed by Professor Maureen Dollar from the University of South Australia. And the title of the conference and itself is interesting. The title is Work Stress, Capitalism and the Idea of Psychosocial Safety Climate, Causes and Costs of Psychosocial Risks at Work. Maureen Dollar has developed the concept of psychosocial safety climate, and she began her semi-plenary explaining the background of all of these. Her point of view, and I share this point of view, is that occupational stress is both a social and a political problem. And she explained the importance of economic factors in our world and how economics has an impact on work. She said that the driving beat is economic rationalism, the drummers, the economists. That was a quotation of her talk. But all of these organization and the capitalistic way to organize work has some costs for the workers, both for their mental and physical health, and cost to the organizations, because all of this is providing high rates of sickness absenteeism, and also a reduction of the overall performance of enterprises. And I didn't remember she mentioned that, but also the quality of work is degraded because workers are less likely to be good workers and to provide good goods when they work. So she explained that all of this has a political context, and I'm really happy to hear that, because as occupational physicians, we are not living in an aseptic world without unions, without policies, without any struggles between all of these. And all of these struggles that do exist have impacts for workers. But then she developed a methodological frame, a tool with a questionnaire, and well, that's here. I'm not exactly having the same point of view on that, but that's the way thing goes. Because when you have some knowledge on the topic, you're more accurate, and it's more difficult to agree with the whole position of an expert. If you're really familiar with the topic, you will be sharing some part of the talk, but maybe not the whole. So where I do have a different way, maybe, but not mutually exclusive, a different way, is that I'm really interested on real work. What do workers practically do at their workplace, and how all of these has an impact on their mental health? And I do believe that questionnaires are not good tools to assess real work. And that's the good transition to the second topic, and I will be switching the light on because it's too dark. Well, the second topic was exactly dealing with this question of real work. I will be focusing on only one communication of a session I organized in order for you really to explain, because all of this is really, really Frenchy. I guess French people are much more committed with all of this, and because let's say it, French authors have some problems to publish in English. So they have good theories. It is really interesting, but as well as they do not make the effort to publish all of this in English, well, nobody is aware of that and nobody is understanding what we're trying to say. So I'd like to talk about one of the communication in our parallel session that has been organized. The title of the session was a little weird. That was my idea. So let me know if you have better ideas to illustrate what I mean. So leave a comment there in order to help me to try to have a better name. We had discussed that and have some ideas. So the name of the session was Micro Level and Clinical Approaches for Managing Psychosocial Risks, Qualitative Approaches. Well, that's a bit difficult to understand. So we discussed maybe we should talk about field approaches, ground approaches, more practical approaches. In Quebec, some authors do say comprehensive approaches. Well, I don't know what is the best, but I'd like you to really identify the fact that we are focusing on real work. So how do practical issues that workers are facing at their workplace have an impact on their mental health? So the example, one of the researchers who have performed a communication during this parallel session, Bernard Duguay from the University of Bordeaux in France. So Bernard has been working on the question of participatory approaches. And I'd like you to have a little attention to that. The title of his presentation was The Involvement of Employees in Project Management, a Key Issue for Efficiency and Health at Work. So the big deal is that participatory approaches are really trendy. All organizations are really, really willing to say that they are making participatory approaches, implying their employees and saying, yes, we are doing good because we are implying employees. So everything we're doing is good. No, this is not right. Because this is not because it's participatory that the result will be suitable for workers. It is not because workers have decided that the result will be good enough. So we cannot avoid having the help of an expert on the topic. If you're talking about the design of an office, let's have also a look at what the ergonomist has to say. If you're talking about toxics in the air, let's have attention to what an hygienist or a toxicologist could say. So it is quite, I think, reasonable. And a participatory approach, let's have it in mind, is not meaning that it is a successful approach. So the practical problem, and I'd like you really to be careful to that, because this is really the purpose of what I'd like you all to understand, how practical problems may induce psychosocial risks and how questionnaires cannot assess that. The intervention Bernard and his colleagues have performed was concerning 280 bank office. And in these office, there is a desk, a front desk, they have to redesign. And the participatory approach has led to a really, really weird thing, in which there was a children wait room, a place for children to wait. So, of course, the customers in a bank are mostly not children. So, well, while waiting, the customers were using this unused children area. So, you have customers in a good waiting room, and also customers in the child waiting area that was filled while the other was crowded. So when the employee called for a customer, sometimes he was wrong. He called the wrong customer because he was unable to know whether he had to go to the children part or the growth part, the grown-up part. So this raises violence between the customers because there were some arguments between customers because some of these were before and go after and something like this. So it created a climate of violence in some banks, and this violence had repercussion to the workers. So you see the link. There is at the very basis, you have the design of the waiting room linked to the office. This is leading to really, really practical violence problem in the office that has been observed by the economists, leading to psychosocial risk for the employees that may develop some diseases related to this risk. So that's what I want you to say. And if you are making a questionnaire, using a questionnaire, how do the questionnaire can assess that? Try to think about it and tell me how. Is the questionnaire able to screen for all of these details? But in these details, with details doesn't mean it's not important. It means it's really, really tiny. But it's in these tiny things that we have some really important things for workers. So that's what I wanted to explain to you. And Bernard's talk was really, really inspiring to understand that. And I encourage you to have a look to the abstract on the website of the Congress. So that's it for today. And I will be having another drink with the colleagues and to enjoy the last common evening in Dublin, because tomorrow it's the last day, so it will be the last video concerning the Congress. But good things come to an end. See you